All right, welcome everyone to the March Graduate Student Association Assembly meeting. We already spent this 5 minutes here going over the agenda, but I'll go over it again, or not again. I never went, but we're just going to cut into the next time a little bit. So the agenda, attendance, if you missed that sign in, please go to the link that I actually shared in the chat. We're going to have a welcome message from our president, Alexander. We're going to go through committee reports, and then we're going to meet our executive board nominees. And then we're going to end the meeting with some student guest speakers who are going to talk about an upcoming forum that they think that you should participate in. So I'm going to pass it on to Alex so you can give the graduate council update.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome, full room. Forgot that it was right before spring break.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the graduate council. We just met briefly. There's two kind of big things that are coming up. First is that we are starting to talk about what to do with the graduate student Bill of Rights. So it's a document that GSA has been working on for the past year. Started off as an idea. So this working document is something we're hoping to sort of share with all graduate students so that when they come to UNCG, we know sort of like what our rights are as students, what our responsibilities, what we expect kind of ourselves as a community of students, and then what we expect from faculty and staff. So to kind of create this environment, but that is more for another committee report. So I will save that for later tonight. But I just wanted to let everyone know that we're starting this process of, you know, how do we implement this as a formal document, you know, for graduate students. The other thing is that there were several policy updates. Curious about them, I can go over them.
Just the ones that are like big.
I think the biggest one I mostly wanted to highlight that these policies can come from anywhere. So, you know, in your programs, your handbooks, what's affecting your day-to-day life as a graduate student. And so we can look at those, like, is that working for me? Is this still like a working policy? Can it be updated? Can it be changed? So Dean Bell submitted like a flurry of policies over the past couple of months. One was a grade change. So do we get rid of the plus minus system? If we do, how do we, you know, send out grades? You know, who kind of falls behind? You know, what do we expect us to do? And so we sort of discussed that, how that might affect students. But that was, you know, the initiation of that came from, you know, Dean Bell was just going over policy. It was just like, I think they should change. I think we should talk about this. And so if there are policies that are affecting you as students in your programs or your colleagues, you know, you're like, hey, I don't think this is right for our program anymore. This kind of worked pre-pandemic. Maybe we should update it. And so I think we should all sort of take into account our programs and, like, you know, can we improve something? Then the graduate council is the place to do that. So that was just the thing I wanted to say, was that, you know, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes at the university, a lot of moving parts. You know, I've been talking about budget cuts for the past 2 years, but there's things that are like affecting us as students. And so I think if we want to be in those rooms where decisions are being made, we need to know about them and then kind of share that with each other. So that was the big update. I'll pass it off. If there's any questions. Okay, I'll pass it off to committee reports. Program.
Oh yeah. Did you see any online questions?
No.
Okay. So I'm standing up here to give the programming report. We are busy planning we're going to do one sort of like big event for Graduate Student Appreciation Week. So we're in the process of booking the spaces. We're gonna get a snow cone truck, so Kona ice, and we're gonna have sort of like a beach themed event. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping to have it like near the Mossman building, and in communication with the graduate school and with our student affairs liaison person. I don't know how close I'm going to get to that, but I'm working on getting it so we can have sort of a joint GSA graduate school sort of event where we can find out where the building is and like where we can go to get resources. But I'll send out more information once we get that figured out. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that we're working on. And then we are working on trying to get a professional headshot event during that week as well. But that hasn't been fully worked out yet, so I can't promise it. I do know that in the past years we've had them, but we also had more money and less opportunity to like do in-person things. So I do want to set up some sort of like headshot event, but it might be sort of a DIY sort of thing or professional. We have the photographer come in. So that's something that I'm shooting to have in April, especially for graduating students, but for anyone that as graduate students, we are professionals, so we should have professional representation of ourselves out in the world. So that's what we're working on. Yeah, basically, that's it. I'm gonna pass it off to the student engagement. Oh, yeah.
One question was just if we can try and make it accessible for JSNN students, like a Friday afternoon or a Saturday. And then someone asked when it was the week. It's the first week of April, right?
Okay, so the first question was, can we make it accessible to JSNN on a Friday afternoon? This event in particular that I'm talking about for the beach theme and graduate student appreciation week in general, Friday is Good Friday of that week. So the event is going to be on Thursday right before our April assembly meeting. So it'll be like in the afternoon on Thursday, and that's kind of what we're planning. For the headshots, I definitely can, in the planning process, make sure to have a time chunk during Friday afternoon. I don't think that should be an issue. So I'll take that into account. What was the second question?
Just when it was.
Oh, when it is. I already said that. Yeah. So it's the first week in April. Well, the first full week of April. And then the big event that I'm planning with the snow cones is Thursday. There's a graduate students showcase on Tuesday. So if you're interested in the research that graduate students are doing across campus, me too. I'll be there. Our treasurer Krista will be there. I'm sure. I hope that a lot of other students that are in this meeting are also going to be in it as well. But that should be good. And I should have a calendar. I'm reaching out to other schools and not schools, but like schools within UNCG to try to see if they're planning on doing something for that week as well. And I'll put a calendar together and share it before that week comes up. But any other questions? Okay. Pass it on. Student engagement.
So Alexander kind of already talked about no, you're good. The Graduate Student Bill of Rights and Responsibilities. That's been the big project of the year. I would like to thank my committee. I see Evans on. I know Emily popped in. Who else? Dustin, Fujita, I saw you come in as well. Sherwin. Just thank you guys for all your work. You know, it was a lot. But anyway, so this document talks about rights, responsibilities that ideally our hope is when graduate students start, we can pass this on, is kind of your expectations. And it also includes some resources, like quick guide stuff that we thought was useful, or we wish we would have had when we first started. So, you know, I would appreciate any feedback if you're interested, you know, please let me know, but I think it's a pretty extensive document. The committee did a great job helping me with that. That's really pretty much it. Yeah, Alexander's passed it off to the next stage. So
yeah, I guess I have a question about that. So now it's been given to the graduate council.
Yes.
Is that something that they decide to implement, or is it going to like come back to us eventually?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, I'll pass.
I just didn't want to like talk and have it repeated across the mic.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this document, it's odd. You know, I've asked this committee to kind of create this document and then it's kind of exceeded all of my expectations. And then I take it to the graduate council. So it's the dean of the graduate school, a couple of unit heads or representatives, and then some other administrators through UNCG. They can decide sort of like where to put this document, or it's not enforceable because there are university policies in place. And then this is sort of like a guideline for like, you know, us as a collective cohort of graduate students, professional students. This is what we expect of ourselves, and this is what we expect of, let's say, our advisors. And so, you know, we can't, you know, just all we want to say, like, we need this, like, you know, we deserve better. How do we advocate for ourselves? So the graduate council basically will decide, like, you know, we can put this on our website, we can ask every, you know, department, you know, to kind of like anywhere the word graduate student at UNCG, this document should follow. But something we've talked about that, you know, every department, and this is one of the other policies, every department needs to have a handbook for their students because some things are just sort of gray and nebulous and, you know, we don't know what's expected of us and then kind of don't know what the policies are until it's too late. So you get in trouble or you need time off. Like, how do I ask for a semester off or so? My department's kind of good about that and they were surprised to see so many of us reading it. But I know that's not the same for every department. So one, they're mandating everyone have a handbook. And so I asked, like, if we create this document written by graduate students for us, can we put it in the front of this book? So that's the thing probably we'll discuss moving forward. So hopefully in the fall, we'll implement this. And then as GSA, like, we're going to have it on our website, but we're going to try to make sure that we put it in the hands of all the students. So,
No, it's not.
yeah, so we can share that with the Senate, and then, you know, any input that comes from the graduate council, I'll share with everyone. So this will be a working process. And then I'm hoping to see it to the end. If that answers your question.
Yeah. I mean, but are we able to share it with the senators?
Yeah,
right
so I was gonna leave that up to Ashley and the committee. Yeah, we can share it with everyone. I
I
don't see a problem with that.
think it's a great document that, even now, like midway through whatever program we're in, I think it's something to
Oh, yeah.
be reminded of.
It's still
Yeah.
good information, so
Yeah.
I'm happy to put that in the hands of the students before the
Right,
administrators.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's going to be any edits. That's the thing I fear the most, is that, you know, they'll just kind of sweep this away. Like, no, there are too many things happening, too many other moving parts of the university. Like, you guys can take a seat. But I want us to like kind of keep this document for our tenure here at UNCG, and so this is what we, you know, deserve. So, okay. Updates to follow.
Amanda, I missed a question in
For
the
me?
chat here. Yep, for you. Someone asked
This is a
if,
question for me.
yeah. Someone asked if it was possible to support a minority owned snow cone business for the GSA event.
Do they know of one? So I've just been in,
She says yes.
if she knows of one, send me that information and I'll reach out to them. I already have, like, it just depends on the pricing, but that's definitely something that I'd be interested in. So, and I think the GSA would be more than glad to partner with the minority owned.
Absolutely. One thing with that is I don't know, a lot of places that we do business with, they have to do like a tax-free type of thing.
Right.
And sometimes, we have a list that we can and cannot do. So,
Okay. So there's,
send it to you and I, so I can double check with our business officer.
I'm not sure if you could hear Krista, but she was saying, send that information to both the vice president email and the treasurer email, just to make sure that we're able to coordinate the payment, because it has to be a sort of a tax-free situation because we're using university funds. Yeah. Yeah, with that, I'm gonna pass it off to the finance committee. Are you gonna talk about the
What?
windows at the end of the presentation, the funding window?
Oh, we didn't switch it?
Did we switch it?
No, I didn't switch it.
So if you're gonna talk about that, you should just.
No, that's really fine.
You can jump through it. I just remembered that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We're gonna do some quick things, so don't look at the computer for a second. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we had some concerns with the funding window opening over spring break. So we did push it back a week so that every graduate student, should they be able to, will not have to worry about this over spring break. Keep in mind that all of your documents should be able to be pretty much put together already. If you already know that you're going to a conference. So the window will open March 13th at 8 a.m. It'll close March 24th at 5 p.m. To give us time to review all these documents and stuff. Heather is on my committee as well as Justin. But we're gonna say that you'll receive a notification whether or not you got awarded by no later than the April 7th. Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Thank you. And then, as always, our budget for this funding period is roughly $24,000. And so for the professional development fund, like last semester, you can request up to $500. You cannot request any more than that. And if this is in regards to a conference, it must take place between January 1st and June 30th of this year. Or you can apply for the research capstone fund. And as always, this is a request to buy an item. It is not a reimbursement to the student personally, because the department has to buy it. And so it's owned by the department as well. This is first come, first serve, and on application completeness and accuracy. So we thought it would be the most fair to give priority to students that did not receive funding. Yes, so anyone who received funding last semester will not get priority for funding this semester. And then, as always, you have to have a represented department to apply for this, and then you must pay student activity fees. I did last semester put up a helpful tips document on our GSA website, as well as we did update one of the videos for, I think it's specifically for the PDF. So this is our lovely website. Can everyone on Zoom see this, or do I need to? Perfect. Okay. So this is our regular website on the GSA funding. So if that doesn't pop up, you just go here. And this is our helpful tips guide, especially for the PDF application, as that's the most popular one. Go back to here. And then I see a lot of mistakes on the TRV form. So this is just an example for the signatures. Adobe allows you to just, oh, my thing. Adobe, are you? I'm not on it.
Are you on Zoom? Yeah. Okay, sorry. It's fine.
So with the TRV form, the signature, you can't just go to the signature portion. You either have to do written or you have to do the digitally sign. In the document for the helpful tips, I did put how you can do that. And this in the bottom corner here is what it should look like when you do a digital signature. This is what a lot of the university is accepting across the board if it is not written. And then as always, all of this information needs to be filled out as well as check marked. And it has to, I already put it in the TRV form if it's on the website and you download it from there, that it has to state official state business, and then you can put your conference or event down here. And then make sure that your supervisor or whoever it may be that is your mentor or even the department chair signs this. If you haven't already gone to your conference, only the top portion needs to be filled out. But if you've already gone to the conference, the signatures on the top and the bottom must be completed. Any questions for?
Yes. Can the PDF be used to reimburse for travel costs like gas to go to a practicum that's occurred over the course of the semester?
Like more than one trip.
I think so.
What's the practicum? Like, is it like? Just give me slightly more details, if possible, please.
But like regularly going to a field placement.
Oh, typically with internship type practicum stuff, We have not, but please email me and I will 100% verify that with our business officer. Just to make sure that that's not an option for us. For typical travel with conference and other professional development events, we do help reimburse for gas. So this may be an option, but I don't want to tell you 100% before I talk to them. Great question though.
Someone asked like school address or personal address. Do you use the school address or personal address?
This is typically your personal address. Yeah. Because it's reversed to you, so the school needs to know your address. Any questions?
So, for this form, are you supposed to ask like your, like, dissertation supervisor or your department head to sign that?
It doesn't particularly matter. Typically, this is your mentor or your specific supervisor. Huh? Oh, yes, absolutely. For the signature where it says the supervisor's dean's signature on Zoom, you can see me circling it. Typically, this is your actual dissertation chair, or your specific mentor. Yeah, just essentially your advisor on paper. So whoever your faculty advisor is usually who signs this. For any reason that doesn't work, just do your department chair then. Yeah. They can hear me. Yeah, no, she asked me. I repeated it, right? Yeah. Maybe fine. All right, I will go back to where we started. So we're after committee reports.
Yeah.
So I'll let Amanda take it away from here in regards to what's next.
So the next plan of action is to introduce all of our 2023-2024 executive board nominees. And we'll share information about the election and like where to go. Right after this, I'll send out an email with the link, and then also I shared it at the end of this presentation. But we're gonna be hosting our election through Spartan Connect. I know a lot of senators still haven't accepted my invitation to follow GSA on Spartan Connect. So I am reminding you that to vote as a senator or even as just a general population graduate student, that you need to follow us on Spartan Connect to be able to submit a vote for these positions. So there's a new platform. If you followed us in the past, they wiped everyone. We had to start fresh. I sent out emails to all the senators at the beginning of the year, and not that many people accepted it. I sent a reminder and got maybe like 5 more. So I'm gonna leave it up to you guys at this point, but you need to follow us to vote. Yeah, so we will go through our nominees. We have 1 presidential nominee. We have 2 vice president's nominees. We have 1 student relations chairperson nominee, and then 2 treasurers. So we'll just go sort of in that order, starting with our presidential nominee, which is our current president, Alexander Grindstaff.
Yeah, I know this will be election business, but also some former business. I will say, yeah, please join Spartan Connect. That is one of the ways like our official registration as like graduate students in this organization. So it's really important that you as senators and graduate students join. So if you're a senator, please tell your departments, like, hey, this is, where you'll get your information from GSA. So just general GSA business. So, but hello, my name is Alexander. I'm a graduate student in the nanoscience department. I studied pathogenic fungi, which is not fun while watching The Last of Us. It's a little too close to home. First the pandemic, and then now everything that's about things that could kill us. But I love my job. It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying being a student. When I'm not, in the lab, I work with GSA, so it's been a pleasure to work with this team this past year. I've been on the executive board for 2 years. Before that, I was a senator, and before that, I was a student. So I really like working with GSA. I think it's really important to speak up on graduate student, professional student ideas, policies, curriculum stuff. Like I really like advocating for us. So it's been a pleasure working on some of these boards behind the scenes while, the rest of this is, aided by the rest of my board. But I really enjoy it. Sorry about that.
No,
She said your time is up.
yeah.
No, so I really enjoy this. Sorry, there's some feedback.
Okay.
Okay. I'll go, it's fine.
It just automatically unmuted her.
Okay. No, so I really enjoy working with this. There's a lot of moving parts, like I said earlier, but I'm passionate about this. It is difficult to speak up for almost 4,000 graduate professional students. So I would love to rely on these students so that by the time I leave this job, I can leave GSA in better hands, and then that the university knows that we want to be a part of those decisions. Yeah, let's do questions afterwards, but I said some of these things earlier, but I'm excited to see some of these things through, like the Bill of Rights, wanting to run again, primarily to see that through. That's a document that we've been working on, but I don't want to leave and then have the administrators sort of sweep it under the rug. So I'm excited to continue some of these themes. I really believe in institutional memory, and I think I've been saying that for 4 years. So I've seen GSA grow from this pre-pandemic organization, prior to the pandemic, and now we're sort of on the other side of whatever the end of this is. I'm just hoping to kind of create a community where graduate students can come together, advocate for ourselves, and enjoy our time here. With that, I will pass it along. What a good question. Okay.
Okay. Our next candidate is going to be Terry Chavez. Yeah, and I'll just pass it off to you. There's a microphone right here, and then the camera's right there, so they can kind of see you.
I'm setting a timer because I know that I am long-winded. I want to make sure that I am continuing. Well, hello, wonderful folks. Good to see y'all on this day before spring break. We are almost there. So again, my name is Terry Chavez, he, him, his pronouns. I am an enrolled member of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina. So if you're not aware of indigenous members or tribes in the state, we're one of them. And so I am running for vice president for GSA. And just to be honest, Amanda sent me an email one day and was like, hey, by the way, someone has nominated you. And I was like, well, I must answer the call if someone was to nominate me. So why am I running for this position? Why am I passionate about being on the executive board? To follow up what Alexander said is advocacy for graduate students. We know that we are a small population on this campus, but we do a lot of work on this campus, from research to practitioner experiences. We help the university grow. I am a collective or community-based practitioner. So my background is in higher education. I'm a second-year PhD student in the higher education program here. So I do have experiences working in mid-manager representative position in higher education. I know the terminology, the lingo, how to speak those terms in spaces with advocating for others when they are not there. And so I believe that the vice president role is an excellent position to be able to center our student experiences and stories, not just here in this space with senators, but also in spaces where we are representing you all. For example, I currently serve with Alexander on the graduate council. And so in those meetings, we do advocate for the graduate students, saying, here's some concerns that have come up, whether that be health insurance for online students, the Bill of Rights, things such as that. So this is a wonderful opportunity to continue to represent graduate students across campus. So yeah, that's the technical side. I'm also a cat dad. I have 2 cats at home, by the way, Ayasha and Todd. They keep me lively. And I enjoy walking next to Battleground Park to kind of clear my head, because y'all know graduate student life, you got to step away sometimes to take care of yourself. So that's the human side of me. But yeah, that's who I am, Terry Chavis. Thanks.
Don't think Justin was able to come. So we might hear from him later. Hopefully he can make it here by 5 o'clock. But Justin is also a candidate as well. So we have 2 vice president candidates. And then we have 1. No, we have treasurers. Okay, so we're gonna go this order. We're gonna start with the treasurer nominees, and the first one on this list is Heather Amons.
All right, hi, my name is Heather. I'm a 3rd-year PhD student in the Department of Nutrition. I'm studying high fat diet and dopamine in the brain. And I am currently on the finance committee as part of the GSA. I did the same last semester, so I've kind of been drawn towards that aspect of the GSA graduate student life. I'm really passionate about helping graduate students go to conferences and specifically focusing on PDF, really exacerbating their education and enriching their education to be able to make that more affordable. Since as graduate students, we really know we don't get paid enough for the amount of work that we do. So I really love that aspect of it. And I'm currently also the president of our Nutrition Graduate Student Association. So I really do love just getting involved and meeting students from all the departments everywhere and being active in the UNCG culture. And I'm also, when I'm not living on campus, being a mom of 3. So I am very used to budgeting and handling money in all different aspects and different parts of my life. So yeah, that's why I really want to be the treasurer for upcoming year. Thanks.
Awesome, thank you. Our next nominee is Brooks Yanmark. He's gonna come up and talk to you guys about this nomination. Sorry.
Hello, everybody here in person and to our online audience. My name is Brooks Youngmark, and I'm a 3rd-year PhD student in public health education and a past senator of the PHE Public Health Education Program within the School of HHS for the past 2 years here at GSA. So many acronyms. I'm also the current vice president and programming chair of Delta Alpha Pi Honor Society and upcoming president for the Delta Alpha Pi Honor Society, and Honor Society focusing on advocacy and honoring achievements of students with disabilities. And in the segue of student advocacy, I started here at UNCG in the fall of 2020 when the world was seemingly on fire. And as a new North Carolinian, all the way out from Kansas, the first emails I received and first transparency into what student organization and life looks like here at UNCG was the GSA. And I was ecstatic to be sitting in my 350-foot studio to start on things such as trivia and getting to know everybody and getting to learn about all the positions and what GSA had to offer, and which drove me to become a senator. In the meantime, over the past, over this past year and the year prior, I followed closely what the qualifications and what necessitates this job as being a treasurer. And through my past experiences in undergraduate and my master's in public health, I was able to serve on finance committees and budget organization committees for large scale student organizations as well, with all manner of running budget tables, but also focusing on the transparency and what the meaning of this position encompasses, and being able to serve a transparent glimpse into what the financial processes look like and how students can be a benefit to them. To me, it's not so much, it's also receiving the emails and knowing what's happening, but I also want to further expand on and lead from the shining example of the current administration to provide students in the best way possible of why decisions are being made and who is making them and what their processes are and what their rationales are for each. So to build on the shining example of the current administration, I hope to become a senator, or excuse me, hope to become a treasurer for the next year. Thank you so much for your time.
Awesome, thanks, Brooks. And then our last nominee is Ashley Lober Novak, our only student relations chair nominee and our current sitting student relations chair person.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I am over in the history department. I would rather not say what year I'm in, but so this was my first year with the GSA in an executive board position. I started as a senator the year prior. But I'm a firm believer in advocacy and grassroots movement. When I'm not here, I'm volunteering some of my time working for Every Campus a Refuge, which works with mobilizing colleges and universities to help resettle refugees. So I'm a big believer in grassroots advocacy movements. Alexander kind of already took some of the words out of my mouth, but I do want to see the Bill of Rights through. I don't really know where this is going to go, and being at the end of the year, academic year, I don't want to I don't want this to fall through. So that's why I'm running. That's a little bit about me. Yeah, I guess we've got a couple minutes for questions. Yeah, like 5-ish minutes
Do
maybe.
we want to bring the nominees up?
We could, yeah. I'll grab my.
I'll check. Wait. What else do we have? Yeah, okay,
So we're gonna take questions from the audience for the nominees. So if you have any, I'll go ahead and just
pull this up too. Let's see if there are any.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
so do you guys the three that are here, and then we'll take any questions from anyone for any of the nominees. I remember last year we kind of had this process where everyone had a question and every nominee thought wanted to answer, which I think is great, but also takes up a lot of time. So kind of target your questions at specific people unless you want like a overarching thing. Yeah.
You have the floor.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Any questions from the room, from Zoom? Are any of you online students? That's the first question. Is anyone an online student? No. Okay. And the next question is, how will you specifically represent the interests of online students? So since there aren't any, let's just hear from everyone, I guess. Quickly, though. Yeah, okay, Alex is gonna address.
Hi, Sarah. Great question. I think this is sort of one of those perennial problems that you and a few other senators brought to our attention. These are one of those blind spots that we have as kind of like on-campus students. I'm an in-state student, so there's a lot of things that I don't see, affecting me. And I don't hear about it until we kind of bring that to everyone else's attention. I think one of my goals in the past few years was to always have more students participate with GSA. So your participation was really helpful in bringing a lot of those issues to the forefront. Because we took those right to the places where, all of those concerns, we took them to where they needed to go. Whether or not the administration helped us with any of them is a different story. But, I'm hoping that we can have more online students, more international students participate with GSA, because otherwise, it's the four of us trying to represent 4,000 students. And there's only so much we could do. And so I really rely on senators, and I'm hoping to kind of instill that. That was a really long-winded answer, but everyone else like that.
Do you guys have any input on that? Or,
I do. Yeah.
okay, Ashley,
Well.
it's a complicated.
No, it is. a complicated-
Yeah.
It's fine.
Alex just there.
But I agree with Alex that, a lot, it does come from the senators, and we don't really know what issues are specific to certain people. I know Fujita's, she was part of my student engagement committee, and she's an international student. And she brought every meeting, she would bring different perspectives that I didn't consider, didn't think about. We also had some people from, who are professional students, but not considered graduate students, like nursing and whatnot. They bring different perspectives that I don't realize, I don't think about from my department. So engagement and trying to hear what issues from students is a big one. Yeah.
I can go, sure.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll take minutes real quick.
I think it's important to recognize that while we have the designations of online students and in-person students, the common denominator there is still students. And the university has overarching policies for all of us, and we need to be represented in an equitable manner. So from the treasurer's perspective, a lot of my communication would be online, but to represent the best interests of online students as well, I will be sure to investigate that any financial decisions or stipulations that are made, if there are any differences between the allocations between what would be for online students or in-person students, I would be sure to communicate that as clearly as possible, but to also make myself available, not just over email, but to any type of form of virtual or a hybrid communication to anyone who would have any questions or concerns, or who really just want to talk about if they want to learn more about the processes involved. Thank you.
Just adding on real quick of what these wonderful folks have said already, but especially through the vice president role with coordinating the senators or the Senate itself, recognizing that the senators aren't the only members of graduate programs, and that senators shouldn't be gatekeepers of knowledge or access. So continuing to open that access to our online students, and then taking that information to our university administrators and being like, why is this a thing? Why is this a policy? You know, how have you recognized how this affects our students, because they're voicing their opinions and their concerns? So just continuing on with what my colleagues said. So yeah.
Yeah, just to build real quick on what everybody else said.
I know.
Recognizing that we are all students in the same community and just offering the same benefits that we have in person and have online, like virtual conferences, the ability to have the same abilities and opportunities that we all have in person versus online.
So, absolutely.
I know.
So we're gonna come back to this question that was posed about how the candidates are gonna advocate to the administration, but I want to introduce Justin, who is one of our vice presidential nominees. He was in class and quickly ran over here to come and talk to us. So I want to give Justin some time to introduce himself, and then he'll join into this group discussion. So go ahead, Justin.
Thank you, Amanda, and thank you everyone for being patient. I apologize, class ran a little bit late today, but I'm Justin. I'm a second year PhD student in kinesiology. I'm in the applied neuromechanics concentration. Enrolled here fall 2021. Before going back to school, I was a full-time athletic trainer at George Mason University for 6 years. That's in Northern Virginia. I've been a GSA alternate senator this entire semester, or I should say the entire year. And, really, I'm a very active individual. I want to be an advocate for graduate students. That's why I'm running for an executive board position. I understand challenges that graduate students have to face at this time. So I'm really passionate about being one of those voices and being one of the driving forces to, advocate for this association, also be an advocate for us as graduate students. So that's why I'm, taking in this, this opportunity to help further our lives as graduate students and also further our association.
Yeah. Thank you, Justin. Yes, yeah. Except I'm actually gonna pause this process for a second. We've gotten some answers from people, but I want to talk about the there's a few more points that we have to hit before we end today. So if you want to talk to the nominees, stay afterwards, and we can shoot those questions at them after we adjourn. So and we're going to record it for Zoom if you need to leave at 5. But I want to pass off to our student speakers that wanted to talk to us about the forum that's coming up. Sorry, I made you come up and then I was like, go away. But I do want to make sure that we're timely today. So what we're going to do is I do know that Emily is joining us via Zoom, and you're Dan.
Okay.
Do you want to come up here and speak into the microphone? Do you know if Audrey's coming?
She's not able to make it.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just get this started, and Emily, if you're on Zoom, I think if you unmute yourself, you should be able to, we should be able to hear you in the room, so.
Okay, I'm here.
Yep, we got you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Hello, everyone. Sorry I was running a bit late. I had to make my car roadworthy with zip ties. One of those underrated graduate student abilities. Who here has been following the story of the budget cuts here? USCG? Most of you? Yeah, that makes sense. I'm a graduate student, second year communication studies master's degree. I'm also a graduate teaching assistant. So I know how important work that we perform teaching classes, which I think the administration tends to overlook. But we are having an event on March 13th. Emily, would you like to explain the event?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Emily Robbins. I'm sorry I couldn't be there today. I actually just birthed a child last week. So I'm in the midst of taking care of a newborn, which is fun, but only adds to kind of how important it is to advocate for ourselves as graduate students. So we are having an event, a student forum. It's meant to be pretty flexible. We genuinely are just a group of concerned graduate students who are trying to create something interdisciplinary so that, you know, university-wide, we can all come together and kind of share our different struggles, our unique struggles that we have as kind of in different departments. I myself am a third year history PhD student. And I know that I've spoken to other, graduate students in other departments who have very different needs and kind of concerns. And so I think it would be really important, especially as students who are typically kind of secluded to our departments, which is totally understandable, right? We all are working on our dissertations, are trying to get our coursework done, are working as TAs, teaching our classes. But, to be able to have a space where we can all kind of come together and be able to kind of create a sense of solidarity, but also to see if we can come up with some ways that we can advocate for ourselves during this really stressful time. So that's essentially why I think we are having this. Like Dan said, it's going to be March 13th in MHRA, and there will also be a virtual option for to attend. So yeah, Dan, if you had anything else to add.
Well, thank you, Emily. Yeah, it'd be great if everybody here and everybody out there in internet land who's listening could come to this event on the 13th. I'll stick around for a little bit to answer any questions. I'm also we'll collect emails if anybody wants to. If you want to see, we can keep you updated. So, thank you for letting me and Emily speak.
Yeah, thank you.
Provide senators to share this with their departments.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to be sharing this information with all the senators, sort of a recap of the things we've talked about today. We want to make sure that you are relaying that to your respective departments. So just make sure that you're sending emails and discussing with other students as well, so we can get the word out about this event and then any of the other things that we're doing. Already talked about that. I want to just end on, before we bring the nominees back up and talk to them, I want to talk about the election. The first thing that you need to do is follow the GSA, because the election is hosted in Spartan Connect. So there's a stipulation that you have to be following us to submit the vote. So go ahead and follow us, and then it'll let you submit. It opens today at 6, and it's going to close at 6 o'clock on March 13th. So that's 2 weeks. And then this is the form, and I'll send this out to everyone. But this will take you to the Spartan Connect portal where you can go and look at the different nominees. So actually, I might just put this in and we'll just go look at it. Is it control?
Oh,
It's a question
control switch copy, yes.
in the room.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was like, I didn't see it in the chat. What's up?
Is there a difference between following and joining the GSA on Spartan Connect?
I don't think so.
You should just.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. So, oh, I'm signed in, that's why. I was like, why didn't it stop me? So follow or join, it's probably join, right? I don't know. I did it so long ago that I don't remember. It's really easy. You just, whatever you need to do to be considered part of the Graduate Student Association. There's no approval process. You just have to click the thing that says, yes, I want to be under this umbrella. And then it'll lump you in, join. So join the GSA on Spartan Connect. Yes,
It's the same system that we used to vote last year, or is it different?
they axed whatever platform that they had before and then got this new one. It's called Presence. I forget what last year's was, but whatever it was, whatever you had followed last year and you were part of that and the utility of that is all gone. And now we have this new system that like has different and maybe less utility. But in our constitution, it says that we have to host our election through Spartan Connect. So this is why we're doing it this way. It's not really a great way to communicate with you guys, like sending emails like you might have received in the past. So I'm slowly building up that like email base. So I just send direct emails like through the through Gmail. But I do hope that like once we get more people to follow Spartan Connect, that we might be able to use it more. I put all the events in Spartan Connect. So hopefully if everyone follows it, then we can start like sort of advertising the events that we're putting on through Spartan Connect rather than relying really heavily on you guys to get the word out to everyone about certain things. But it's different, but it's the same. It's the same, like Spartan Connect, or what is it? SpartanConnect.uncg.edu is the website that you go to.
They still call it Spartan Connect.
And it's still Spartan Connect, but it's a different platform. So this is the same URL that you would have put in last year, but it looks different. So that's why I kind of put this thing right here. This is going to be in that top corner. And then when you go to SpartanConnect.uncg.edu, it'll come up with like sort of a this screen right here. And then you want to go to that top right corner and click that little symbol guy and log in. So here, I'll log out.
Email us if you have questions.
Yeah, and if you have any questions or like have problems trying to get in there. I don't think this is. Oh yeah, that works too. Okay, so I guess you can do uncg.presence.io, but you can also just do Spartan Connect, spartanconnect.uncg.edu, and it'll take you to the same site. Yeah, so we have 2 weeks to vote. Please vote. And this isn't just for senators, like any graduate student can vote for the e-board. So let everyone know in your departments. Hopefully we get some votes and we will have, I'm fully confident in all of our nominees that they all will do a great job. So we can just get the next year settled and sort of start planning for the next steps. So yeah, with that, it's 5, right? It's 5.
We'll stay for questions.
So it closes in 2 weeks, so the 16th or the 13th?
What did I say?
It's the 20.
Or 13th?
Okay. So it'd be a week and a half.
Is it the 16th?
I think there's 2 weeks from today.
13th is the same time.
I went to the email that we sent out and it said 13, or did it say 16? I'll check on what we had established. And I'll include that in the email. Yeah. I'll clarify.
One more question.
Yeah.
So for regular people who are not here, is there any information for all the candidates that they might be able to see? Or do they?
Thank you. So the question was, is there any information about these candidates for people that weren't here? And yes, there is. There's more. It'll be really quick. Okay, do I still have, oh no, I logged out. Let's see if I can just go here. Let me see if it'll let me. So, at the GSA website, you can get to it, and Ashley just shared that link. But on this form too, see, it's gonna have me sign in. So, yeah, I'm just gonna click the link. When you go to the form, there's a URL that brings you to this page that has all the, there's a sort of like a bio sketch, and then, are they all like this? Yeah, but there's a bio sketch about them, and then sort of a purpose statement about what they want to contribute to the position that they're running for. So each one of the candidates has a little, a couple paragraphs about themselves, so you can share with them too. All right, I'm gonna call it because it's after 5. But I'm hopeful that all the nominees can stay and take any questions if you have them, but there's one question, but I'm gonna let most people go if they need to leave, but we're still gonna be here. We're also meeting at Old Town promptly after we finish up with questions here. So if you want to join us, I know the current executive board is going to be there, and hopefully other people as well as other nominees can come as well. So yes.
Are you sending out an email again to tell everybody at large about?
Yeah, we'll send a recap email with all this information. Okay, so if you need to leave, you can leave. If you have questions, stay. You can put them in the chat, or you can also unmute yourself. So it's up for you. And I'm just gonna ask all the nominees if you have time to just come up here and take any questions. And I'm just gonna like go away.
Discuss our concerns.
Yeah.
It's kind of follow on to what we had on Tuesday with AAUP. They had a community.
So yeah, the one about, yeah.
Just kind of follow up on that.
So I'm going to repeat the question from Emily. I would love to hear a few words from each candidate. How they intend to use their position to advocate for graduate students to the administration. This is an excellent question. Every position on the executive board. Role for how we want GSA to function. My role. Excuse me. Scenes. So I sit on the graduate council, the faculty senate, there's a couple of other boards, anywhere kind of where Dean Bell is, I usually follow. So my position is mostly just.
Excuse me.
Hello?
Hello. Excuse me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you show the funding window page one more time in slide?
What funding window?
Right.
Okay. It opens March 13th, 8 a.m. Closes.
Okay, thank you. But I today and yesterday I lately joined, but attendance, the link attendance is available now.
No, I don't think the link will be, it won't be, the link won't be available until March 13th.
All right, but senator attendance, you provided a link for attending the meeting that is available.
They want the attendance.
The attendance link. Yeah, it's going to be in the chat. I'm going to go back to Emily's question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So yes, the GSA president, I use this position in the graduate council. There's a few other bodies that the administration works. So that is usually where I get to participate with. Had enough of this today. So yeah, I want to be able to sort of take the input from the executive board, from the senators. That's where I usually start every meeting. I rely on the senators because if we don't know what's happening in the department, I don't know how to advocate for everyone other than sort of this immediate circle, and that's where my blind spots. So I'm hoping that we can build a culture of where, you know, instead of their attendance is high, engagement is high, we're all discussing sort of what's going wrong, what's going well, and then we all have kind of a time way to pass. But I will pass it off. I can get it real quick, that's okay.
Great question. Yeah, so advocating for graduate students to administration. Yes, we know that Dr. Bell is now the official dean of the graduate school. So of course, he is an institutional gatekeeper here at UNCG, but also identifying other administrators and how to connect with them. And have conversations with them, not necessarily just the provost, but also looking at the faculty senate, chair of the faculty senate, chair of the staff senate for graduate students who are not research assistants or teaching assistants. And so realizing that also graduate students are expert students. So how do we tap into your wisdom as well to advocate for you? So I don't know everything to say for a graduate student. So again, making myself available, being that community-based practitioner for you all.
Can you remind us who you are? Can you remind us who you are?
Oh, I am so sorry. Yeah, my name is Terry Chavis, and I am running for the vice president position.
Just to remind everyone.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, my name is Heather, again, running for treasurer position, and as the treasurer, I would advocate as best as I can. Again, there's constraints at university with funds and all of that, but investigating different avenues of fundraising and increasing the amount that we're able to award for funding with those.
My name is Justin. I'm running for the vice president position. So, you know, the big thing that I really intend to do to really be an advocate for graduate students is really one, I think it starts with listening to the concerns of graduate students. And I think that starts with, you know, being active in GSA. So like listening to the concerns that our senators and then just our general student, our graduate student population is bringing to us. I pride myself in being a very good listener and being able to, you know, listen to, you know, all the concerns that people have. And I also, you know, feel like I do a really good job of using that information that I'm provided with to go to the, you know, individuals that can help us. And, you know, for me personally, being in kinesiology, I feel like, you know, first it would start there, reaching out to our heads in our department, letting them know like, hey, these are concerns that our graduate students are having within kinesiology, but as a university as a whole, these are the concerns that we're really noticing. And then also with, you know, connections, you know, I know Dean Bell very well on being a Minerva scholar and, you know, having had conversations with him, I feel like he'd be a great person to take those concerns with too as well. Like, you know, let him know that, you know, GSA meetings, these are what some senators are bringing to our attention, and also just, you know, listening to other colleagues that maybe aren't a part of GSA, but, you know, really understand just the struggles that graduate students have. I, you know, feel comfortable bringing that to his attention as well. And that's how I really, you know, view myself using this position here is really, you know, one, being, you know, an active listener, listening to concerns that graduate students have, and just being able to disseminate that information to the proper people.
Hello, I am Brooks Youngmark, and I am running for the treasurer position. Student advocacy to faculty is imperative to our experience as graduate students in all areas of our academic experience. And through the university, as an intricate myriad of policy and interchangeable politics in a way as it is, we are faced with inherent boundaries, especially when it comes to our cash and how much we are allocated as graduate students, and they are all embedded in policy that has been implemented and is reintegrated and is reassessed at so many different times. However, the best thing I feel that I can do as treasurer is to stay current and on top of that, and to be able to read into the explicit policy and analyze every little bit and piece to which affects us as graduate students, and to be able to formulate and understand possible new ventures or areas of alleviation to the funding that we receive as grad students. That relates a little bit to my experiences in public health, as public health policy is what guides our health parameters as a population across the board, from the state level to your local level, and especially at your university level. Thank you for your time.
Do we have any other?
I mean, yeah, just to echo what everyone has already said, just keeping an ear to the ground, attending things like the forum that's coming up, for AAUP meetings, or reaching out with your department, or I know the history department, Emily actually started the Graduate History Association, just keeping in connection with all of those. And hopefully too, now that we have a permanent dean, that'll help. I know also our faculty advisors are kind of in flux all semester too, so hopefully having an established faculty advisors will help with that as well, with the administration part of it. There might be a few more questions. Nope, that's it, so.
If there are no more questions, yes.
Okay, this is the last question.
Right.
And this is kind of general, maybe not necessarily for new people, but since so many of y'all from this year are here. So I know we talked about it a few meetings ago, the changes that are gonna happen with like Gmail and all that stuff getting like kind of phased out. I also heard that Zoom was going with that. So is there something in place, like, because I know this has helped a lot of people still attend the meetings virtually. And is there a plan for how these meetings can continue to be hybrid?
Yeah. So the question was with the change from Google to Microsoft. We're gonna lose, Box, Zoom, Gmail,
Everything.
all of the things we've come to know and love in this graduate
Right.
experience. Most of the meetings that I've had with some administrators, they've started using Microsoft Teams because that's what they're going for. So there will be a way to do this, but I know there's gonna be a learning curve. So, we've lost our platform for Spark Connect, so we had to adjust. Now we're losing Zoom, so we're gonna have to adjust. As long as the Senate wants a hybrid meeting, we will continue to do that. I know it's easier to be person, but it's still a pandemic and we're all exhausted. So whatever works for busy graduate students, we will accommodate. I don't know when that's taking place. Every meeting that I have, I'm like, when am I losing all my access to Box and everything? So
that'll be the
it's coming in the summer. Yeah, so talk to your advisors first and foremost. They will be the point persons.
I know that there are like free Zoom
Yes.
platforms, but you're cut off at 45 minutes. So I don't think that that the new executive board will be hosting on Zoom anymore, but we do have Microsoft.
Meeting with the administrator. Yeah, if Donna wants to come back and speak to us, we can talk about those more recent changes that are gonna happen this summer. But if you are concerned about that, let us know, let your advisors know.
I'm concerned.
Okay, where does all our data go?
Yeah.
Are there any other questions for the candidates?
Yeah, this one right here.
Oh, fine, yes.
My question will be for, I think I've forgotten his name. Okay, I'm Sandra, a first year student, PhD student in the Department of Specialized Education. And I overheard him saying like he has worked with some organizations that advocate for persons with disability. So I would like to know, like, talking about the participation of persons with disability at the graduate level, does he have any plans in place for them?
So the question, I can paraphrase, was how we plan to work with students with disabilities.
That is going to help that kind of inclusion,
Yeah.
that you see persons with disability participating in the graduate programs.
Yeah, if you want to start it, sure.
Thank you for your question. To start out with, I appreciate you bringing up the specific and oftentimes complex and multi-layered needs of what students with disabilities face. As part of DAPI, I feel like I'm incoming president for the next year, so be able to carry some leadership in that capacity as well. But being able to synthesize our two aims between being a treasurer for GSA and the advocacy power that we will have as exec board with higher level faculty, I feel like that's a great spot to at least segue or to combine the two messages, because students with disabilities do have different needs, and we do have different lenses that we see everything through, that we experience. It's fascinating, and I think it really starts with advocacy. It starts with being able to show and display the voice of students with disabilities, and how, at least with this treasurer role, I will definitely work with utilizing greater approaches to explain those needs in a much clearer fashion, to separate the critical nature of what it is like for a student with disability to have those extra financial struggles, those extra financial strifes. I'm a type 1 diabetic, And so, for example, my world was a little shifted when I saw that Eli Lilly is going to cap insulin at $35 a month. Not even a policy, that's just institutional. It's insane. So things of that nature, people just don't typically think about. And I want to be sure that students with disabilities, like all students, have a voice and to explore every nuance and caveat that is associated with both. And that involves taking both organization missions to the higher level faculty administration to be able to implement immediate change, if not lay the groundwork for future change. Thank you. I am Brooks Youngmark and I am running for treasurer.
You all are welcome to address this question if you want.
Whoever wants to take a stab at it. I mean, yeah, I think that's a great question. I think that's something, again, that's one of those blind spots for, other student leaders on campus is that, if we don't face it, we don't know. Sorry, hi, Alexander speaking. Yeah, so just say your name before you come up again. It's for the recording. Yeah, it's one of those issues because like, if I don't know it, then I don't know to bring it in, but that's where I rely on my executive board. So as a team, in the respective committees, that's where senators, can come up, or you can always email us. I think we always say, hi, yes, you can reach out to us if you want to, but I think we should also say, we want to hear from students. I think we benefited the last few years. I'm afraid my nose Rose. She was a big advocate for students with disabilities. And I think, yeah, but every meeting, like, it was just kind of like, I'm participating, I'm here, you need to do this. And so I think as an organization, there's always room to grow. But I need students' help as well. So there's only one of me. There's a bunch of you and I want to hear from everyone. So yeah, I can ask Michael.
Great question. Terry Chavis running for vice president. So, of course, echoing the advocacy for us as experts on the as part of the executive board, but also who are our campus experts and how can we partner with them using our positions? So of course, in this case, working with students with disability, ORS would be a campus partner to work with there. How can we, whether that be meeting with ORS or going through SGA, through a student organization who's also advocating, how can we kind of coalesce together to be a resounding voice for our students with disability? As someone with hearing loss or partial deafness, that's something that I have tapped into as well with ORS and how I could be supported in my classes, how I could be supported here on campus. And so not just lived experiences, but also professional experiences working alongside those organizations, saying, hey, this is what some students are feeling. What do you know about this? What is your advice towards us to represent these students? What can we learn from this experience? That's me.
This is Justin, again, I'm running for vice president, and that's a really great question that you presented to us, and thank you for it. I'm all for us being inclusive of everybody. Everyone has their certain challenges that they have to overcome, and I'm one for, being an advocate for everybody and making it sure everyone feels welcome, making sure everyone feels comfortable. And like Alexander said, those concerns, once they get presented to us, like if I were to be vice president, if someone reaches out to me with a concern or has a suggestion, I'm open to hearing it. I pride myself on being a good listener, and I like to take action on things too. So if someone presents me with a concern, I will do everything in my power to not make it a concern and do everything I can to try to be an advocate for whoever may be reaching out to me. And I think it's a great idea to really reach out to those who are in positions to provide us the avenues to help out with individuals that may have some type of disability or some type of disadvantage that really impacts our ability to participate and with GSA. So I think reaching out to ORS is a great example or a great suggestion of something that we could do, and just identifying people that are really willing to help us out with that and make it an easier avenue for those that have certain disadvantages or disabilities that makes it a challenge for them to be an active participant.
If anyone else wants to answer, yes.
There, however, just to echo again, what everybody else is saying, just to be an advocate for all groups on campus, especially with disabilities and from all walks of life, and just really making advantages available to everybody and making them feel comfortable coming to us with their concerns and questions and how we can be the best advocates for them in their careers.
Yes.
Question. I heard in the earlier discussion, something was mentioned about headshots, right?
Yeah.
So I have a suggestion. The fact that we have a graduate student website, I normally visit that website, but I don't see anything about the senators. You have information about current students, future students, alumni, and so on. But I think something should be on the website that would, inform maybe the public or those who are visiting the website that, okay, these are the senators and, these are the departments, something, and maybe what we do, something about that. I think that can be more friendly, user-friendly, providing information about not just future students and current, about the senators also. Right, I think that's would be useful.
Which site are you on?
Graduate student website,
Yeah.
graduate student
So are you
association.
asking for more of like a bio sketch, like who
Yeah.
are we for each of the senators? Because the senator and their departments are up there.
Yes.
So you're asking more of like,
Yeah.
oh,
We just started. Yep, there's a started on there. Yeah.
Yeah, something to that effect, yeah.
So, but there's well, it's a Google form that's gonna become obsolete here, but, there is a form that people can fill out if you want your bios on there, quick. Yeah.
Yeah, so do you mean specific for senators or just graduate students?
It's true, but maybe just, if persons consent and so on, I think it's more kind of user friendly. Because I'm mentioning this based on previous experience at previous universities with Graduate Students Association. Something I think that could probably highlight, the work that we're involved in and so forth in terms of the GSA specifically. That's just a suggestion.
Yeah, we're happy for it.
Yeah.
So I think in the past, we've kept a lot of senators' names off the website. Just in general, since questions should come to us and then we share that with the senators. It's also like a lot of people who sometimes will show up in October, show up in, November, and then not show up in the spring semester. So it's a lot of like moving parts, but I mean, we're happy to share it. That was one of my pet projects last year.
They're all on there
the
now.
names are all
Oh,
on there.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you want more information about
I
the,
don't know if it's current. updated. Senators coming.
you're on the Graduate Student Association
Yeah.
website or
Okay, then yes.
school website?
Graduate Student Association website.
And there is a tab for senators and it has a list of all the departments and who's representing them.
Well, if there's any other questions, I don't want to keep everyone in the room.
There's on the side, there's a couple different links that you can
So
go.
we're good.
We can definitely improve on.
So we will have this online. We will send out the recording with the minutes. We'll remind everyone again when voting, when the funding.